I have to say that out of all the videos I've ever made here on YouTube, my heart is just like pounding out of my chest right now. And I feel like people will judge me. Um, and with this is that and the reason why I say people will judge me is because anybody that's actually doing YouTube, this is like the one video I tell them, hey, don't get on just to talk to your viewers. Um, The reason why I'm so nervous is, I'm not here to give you a polished video today. I'm simply here to talk about me, my vulnerabilities, and really, is this a therapy session for me? Is this a therapy session that might be able to help you guys? I don't know which direction is this going to go. We'll see. The thing about Adventures of Purpose is it's given me a purpose in life. It's not my purpose in life. It's just a small segment of it because, we end up with so many emails, so many text messages, so many phone calls that says, Jared, I want to be a part of Adventures of Purpose. I need my purpose in life. And, for all of us, I'm going to say that our purpose is really right there in front of us every single day, that we just need to kind of take the time to acknowledge that we get into a state of depression from time to time. All of us do. It's just I don't know, just we as humans. And I'm not depressed today. I mean, I have things that I want to work on, as my own, but I was really depressed a couple of weeks ago, or a month or two ago. So much so that I actually came home a week early from one of the trips that we were on. And I'm so grateful that, Doug and the rest of the team were able to step in. And I don't know if it was depression. I don't know if it was homesickness. I don't know if it was just the weight and the burden of everything, of not getting certain things done because I was on the road dedicating time away from my home and other things I needed to do. But here, this is how it's starting. All right, we'll get into all of it. But for those of you who stick around, we're going to talk about. I have a few things to give away today as well. And things that are very meaningful. From time to time, as we're on the road, we get these challenge coins. And this one here is from Hunt County. Hunt County is where we found and brought home Carrie Mae Parker. Well, the sheriff gave me an extra one, and it's because of you guys, the viewers, that put us in this position, that I have this extra one that I want to give it to one of you guys today, and we'll figure out how we're going to do that. And I've got some other stuff, some gift cards and whatnot they'll give away to the website over at Adventures of Purpose here. But I think that that I just kind of want to dive into we to support one another, and I guess it really starts with our family, our families that we know, that the purpose that we have right there is to be there for them and to take that time and I guess it's the gratitude. Yesterday I got my wife and my youngest daughter out of town right now, and that left me with my oldest daughter. She's now 25. That, as I look around at the little girl that she used to be and the young woman that she has become, the memories that I've made with her in the past, but not to forget about the memories to be made right now. And so we just spent a nice quiet day yesterday, going to a movie and having, coffees together and tea together and just going for a drive and just chatting. And that we have to remember, that that's our purpose right there in life is first and foremost our families, reaching out to your parents and, mending those bridges. There were years that I went for years with both of my parents without talking to them, until eventually one day it was at the end of the day, when I'm together with them, I have a great time, and everything else from the childhood and anything else is just water under the bridge, and you have to let those grudges go. I'm going to go a little bit deeper here. And again, I appreciate your time. If you're one of those people who's like, hey, Jared, I don't want to just hear you talk, this is not the video for you. Like, you need to just bell right now. If you want to hear about us solving a case, bell right now. If you want to see a polished video, bell right now. And any negative comments, I'm just going to tell you, I don't need negativity in my life. And any negativity, boom, I'll ban you from the channel. It's just the way it goes because we don't need that. Nobody else needs to see negativity. Um, so with that being said, I think that, oh yeah, I know where I was going. So, so getting to know the way that I think is in life, I go out adventure with purpose as an example, and I go out there as a neighbor, that somebody asked me for help. I go out there as a brother, as an uncle, as a father, as a grandfather, because somebody asked me to help them, and that all of you have put us in that position, to be a part of this, is that we're going out there as boots on the ground, and you guys, simply by watching, subscribing, liking, donating, becoming a member, all of that helps us to that we're all sharing the burden, the financial burden, to help put us on the road. The Doug's on the road right now with Carson and Dylan and the other search teams that are out there as well. And for that, I don't take that lightly. I'm very appreciative of it. But again, that's one segment of my life. And going down the deeper thought process is, what's our purpose in life? Where did we come from? What's going to happen to us after we die? I don't have those answers, and I know we're not supposed to talk like, politics or religion or anything like that. And I'm going to hinge on it just a little bit, but not really, in that I don't know where we came from. Is there a bigger creator? And if so, for me, it's hard to wrap my head around it and say, all right, poof, one day there was that all being. But where did that first all being come from? I don't know. Did we come from a single cell organism? I don't know. If we did, where did that very first single cell organism come from? And poof, all of the things were created from there. I don't know. We cut ourselves and bleed. Our bodies heal. We're able to procreate and, make babies and the additional generations that come after us from there. It's all amazing in life. And at the end of the day, I just want to be a good human. If there are pearly gates on the other side, I hope that I can get in, because I've done a lot of stupid stuff in my younger years. I want to be there for my family. Morning, Kira. I want to be there for those that need my help, my assistance. And so, so this is just a reminder to go out there in life, to be that good human, to be there for your friends and your family, and to mend those, the relationships that need to be mended. You have family that, so I have family where 100%, I'm sorry, but the bridge has been burned. There's no rebuilding it. The same thing with, some of my friendships as well. We have different chapters in life, and it's okay that we don't bring certain people from the last chapter into this chapter, but we may meet up with them again 4 or 5 chapters down the road from now. But I want to talk about, the gratitude that I have for all of you. When this started and we were on the road, Josh and Carson and I and Doug, we were kind of joking around like, hey, wouldn't it be like really cool if we ended up with a, sheriff's badge from time to time, and that we can start working with more and more law enforcement. And so, while we were in Fort Worth one time, the boys stopped into a little souvenir shop. And so, this is my first badge. But being out here on the road and helping, the law enforcement, and helping them find people, I ended up with my very first sheriff's badge, that all of you put me in this position to end up with a badge that means something so important and special to me, that we were able to go out there and help a family, to help Nadine Moses' family, to find and locate her and bring her home and do something for her that nobody else in the entire world was able to do. And that we as a community did that. I didn't do it. Doug didn't do it. It was all of us that did it. So I want to say thank you for helping us out with that. I have ended up with another sheriff's badge. This is from Bosque County sheriff there. We did not find who we were looking for, but again, the gratitude of us just being there and what that means to us on that one. The Hunt County one that I was talking about, we went, we searched, we found Carrie's car, we recovered her car in February, but then we had to go back in October And it took us 2 days in 0 blackout conditions to locate her and to bring her home. And each one of the each one of the boys on the team, Doug and Carson and Josh, they all ended up with they call these sheriff's challenge coins or law enforcement. And I forget how the tradition started. I believe the tradition on challenge coins got started back in the wartime. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it started back in the wartime of proving that you were not the enemy. And so certain coins were made from the higher ups within, like ranking officials, captains, corporals, or whatever, that if you were captured by the enemy, or somebody that thought you were on their side, that they would challenge you, prove to us that you are not the enemy. And I believe that's how challenge coins came about. So to do something heroic and worthy. So anyway, I do have this one. We'll talk more about what we're going to do to give this one away to one of you this week. We'll probably do like some type of something in the comment after the videos are over. We'll have like some type of make a certain comment, and we'll pick somebody for that one. But we have additional ones like here's a police. So that last one was a sheriff challenge coin. This one here is from the Waco Police Department, where we found Stephanie Torres. Jacob Grubbs and Lindsay from Chaos Divers were with us on that one. Doug Bishop, Carson, and Josh were with us in Waco, where we met with Stephanie's daughter and her son. And so many times in life, as I look at this and I think about it, I'm reminded that people do care, that we as a society, where did we stop caring? And that we need to, remember about our family and our friends and our neighbors. And this, to me, Bianca, her statement before we went, and I had a discussion with her, Bianca, you knew about Adventure with Purpose. You knew who we were. Why did you not reach out to us to let me know about your mom? That one of our viewers ended up telling me about her mom. And she says, I didn't think that anybody would care. So for me, that's a reminder that we all need to care. We all need to be there to help other people. So that's what that one means to me. I don't remember where I got that one from. Oh, Plattsmouths. Plattsmouth County in Nebraska. This one is very suiting with these other ones so far that I've talked about. They didn't have the flag on the back, but this one is very suiting. And the reason why we received it is you have John Sarkowski ended up being part of that 22 per day veteran statistic, that the depression that set in, the aging, the medical conditions, the med vac that he had to have, the pain that he was in, that he unfortunately made the decision to commit suicide in the river, and nobody can find him. And all his family wanted was answers as to where was he at. We spent the first day looking for him with incredible support from the Plattsmouth County. And at the very end, on the first day of looking for him, we were just hustling one body of water after another. And at the very end, it was after dark when we made confirmation, and I come up and I'm floating down the river because it's a heavy current. They're shining lights on me so they can keep track of where I'm at. And the lights on my helmet and the bugs around it are so thick that I'm eating bugs. And it was the next day of just the city and the county coming together with the wrecker service donating their time. And for a veteran that he felt like it was the end for him, and on the back of this, honoring integrity and respect, you know, never betrayed. Anyway, so that's what that one means to me. We got another one's from St. Clair. That's where I got the badge for naming Moses. Um, each one of these, it's not just the solved ones that we go out on. It's all of them that we go out on that, again, going out there just simply to restore faith in humanity, as many of you said, that I feel as though we all have this ability. Yes, we now have sonar. Yes, we're divers, but just simply these families said, we didn't think that anybody cared, or we haven't. You've done more for us in one day than anybody's done in the past X number of weeks, X number of months, X number of years or decades. And that these families just want to know that somebody has not forgotten about their lost loved one. And if you can do something to help find them, you know, that's what we need to do as a AWP movement, as a society, and not just in the US, but around the world. That although AWP has now brought home 21 people personally that my team has touched, I think it's up over 30, 35 now between the ones over in the UK. And I know that Down Under Dan has been looking. He hasn't solved any yet, but he's found 50 vehicles. We've got the other teams, Jacob and Jeremy, and Depths of History, and Adam Brown Adventures. I mean, they're all out there doing and trying, but it's because of you guys, again, coming back to helping to support us, to put us on the road, for sharing the videos. And so, for me, for today, why did I want to do this video? I think that some of it was just the reflection of the incredible day that I had, yesterday with my daughter. It was maybe this is my church today, that, you know, my church is outside, my church is your people, or you, my people. I don't mean for it to sound like that, that the service that we give to one another. And I don't know what scripture this came out of, or if it was in the Bible, or I don't. For those of you who have often said, "Well, I think he was Mormon. I think he's Mormon." I actually grew up in the Mormon church, but I did give up all religion when I was 27 years old, and that was almost 20 years ago. Because for me, it was is there one and only true church? Certain things didn't sit right with me there and in other religions. And so for me, it was what can I do to change my life to be a better human? Because like I said, I was a crappy person for a long time. Um, and so, so this morning, it was what's your purpose? And I actually have those shirts coming back because, you wear the shirt, don't wear it if you're an introvert, because it's a conversation starter. But what is your purpose in life? And your purpose is different than my purpose. And because you had different people in your life, and you have different, pets or animals, or I guess pets are animals, or pets and animals are different. You might have a neighbor that's aging, which reminds me, I have one that has now moved away that I used to go visit, several times a week. And because of my own life, and now she's, on the other side of town, 5 miles away, I have not made it a point to go see her, but now I remind myself about it. So I'm at least going to call Bridget today and see how she's doing. Um, but anyway, so what is your purpose? And I think that maybe that's how I want to give away this, is that after this video is over, go over to our YouTube channel, and in the comments section down below after the video is over, you know, simply tell me, do a hashtag, what's your purpose? And tell me, what is your purpose? What are your joys in life? As I was sitting up here getting ready for, this video, I've got right here sitting on my desk. Here, I'll kind of just show you my desk. Right here. And so I've got this, dear dad, thank you for, and this is, mind you, my girls are like grown now. They're young adults. But Dear Dad, thank you for everything you do for me, like paying for my gymnastics, doing stuff for me before you do stuff for yourself, and so much more. Thanks for being funny, happy. I work sometime, playful, fun, daddy. And most important, thank you for being you. And from my other daughter, dear daddy, have tons of fun at Seaside. We will miss you lots and try not to get hurt. They know me well. We will have fun today watching the cars go crash, crash, boom, boom, which means that was Father's Day because we have a local oh shoot, lost connection to the camera. Uh-oh. Can you guys still hear me? I hope it'll come back online. Stop mic and camera. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Um sorry. Anyway, that was that was on Father's Day, and here locally they have a Father's Day oh, what's it called? When the cars go boom boom crash crash. Demolition Derby is what that was. But then yeah, again, this is coming back to my purpose in life, and if you are a parent, you know, you have a responsibility for your purpose in life for your own kids, and so again, they're all grown now, but they made this for me a couple years ago. Happy Father's Day to the most amazing, loving father, and looking back on these memories. And so life is about memories. It's not about things and what we can buy. It's about who we can help and how we're going to be, remembered in life. And so I want to do a couple of giveaways, and I think it's going to be all centered around when this video is over. Head over to YouTube, in the comment section, do a hashtag what's your purpose, and let me know what is your joy, or let me know what's your current depression and how you can get over that, or what you think, or other people can chime in to be there for you as a community to support you, and you guys can reach out to one another. For me, I think that my kind of struggle is I'm a yo-yo uh health person nut. Sometimes I'm on the train, and other times I'm just like, give me whatever I want. And so, having the muffin top, becomes depressing. I It's a weekly thing for me, and lately I've just not cared about it as much. I've been enjoying the food because I enjoyed the making gourmet grilled cheese sandwiches in bed late at night with my wife while we settled in and we watch a show. Um, but I look at the picture from 18 months ago where a lot of you saw me go on an 81-day journey and I lost 30 plus pounds. But now here we are 18 months later, and I am depressed because I look at that picture and I packed on over 40 pounds. So I weigh more now than when I started that journey. But I've also enjoyed the gourmet grilled cheese sandwiches, and meals and entertainment with friends and family. Um, anyway, that's one giveaway that I want to do. The other one I want to do is, the gratitude for those that have donated extra that said, hey, can you do something good with this? And so I'm going to give away two incredible, packs of, what's your purpose? And so within that, I'm going to give away, we have what's your purpose silicone bands, what's your purpose stickers. I've got what's your purpose fridge magnets. And then I also have what's your purpose iron-on patches um, in both black and red. So I'm going to give everything that you just saw there. I'm going to give two of those away that I'll pick out. I'll pick them out by, what's today, Sunday? I'll pick them out by Wednesday. So you have until Wednesday to participate in this over there on YouTube in the comment section. Let's also give away two $25 gift cards as well that you can use on the website Adventures of Purpose. That's my gratitude for today. That's my rambling. That's my therapy session for me. I'm very grateful for everything in my life. There's a lot of stupid stuff in my life that I wish I could go back and change or forget, but we have to also acknowledge that we are who we are today because of everything that has ever happened in our lives. So while I regret a lot of things, I would not change a single thing because I would not be sitting here in front of you today as the person, as the man, as the dad that I have become today. And I just wish that, you know, those that are the trolls, I just wish they were like would go away. They're just crappy people. But at the end of the day, you guys and your support has been incredible. I'd like to just go ahead and take like the next 10, 15 minutes or so. And now I'm going to focus on you. I'm going to focus on your questions. Is there anything that I can do to point out or answer for you? Janice says you should know how many people love you, Jared. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you allowing me this platform today because, like I said, and I kind of started off early, I drill the other teams and other people that do YouTube all the time. Don't get on there just because you want some recognition and because you're lonely or whatever else to get on there and just talk to people. So I try not to abuse this platform, and I appreciate it very much. Um, Lori says, we can never live in the past, only in the present and be a better person in the future. And they say that today is called the present because that's what you have to look at and acknowledge. And, I just got a text from my daughter, you know, uh, she said, oh, that was from my wife. Who's out of town. My daughter says, I'm going to go take a shower. Do you want to go to Moe's Black Bear or one street down for breakfast? I'm getting hash browns and fruit wherever we go. So, that's going to be my next purpose today. And then I have a shelf to make in a lean-to that I've got. Scotland loves you. Thank you very much. You make the world such a better place. You're much loved and respected. Thank you for that. And Vicky, you have to remember that, you yourself, you make this world a beautiful place as well, and you make it you make it easier for us to get out there and help these families as well with your participation here. I don't want to judge you by your picture, but you appear to be of a grandmother age. So I hope that if you do have grandchildren, go spend some extra time with them today. Dara says, my purpose in life is wife, mom to 3 kids, food pantry volunteer, helping my community with their basic needs. I was thinking, just on that, Dara, not all of it, but incredible. Dr. Laura. I used to listen to her. Tell my wife would get mad, like I don't like Dr. Laura. She would never let me listen to Dr. Laura in the car anymore with her in there. But she was some type of a saying. It's like, I am a mother to my children, or I am. I forget exactly what the phrase is. If anybody remembers exactly what the phrase is that Dr. Laura says, but basically, it's you've chosen to have your children, so make sure that you're there for them. Unfortunately, there's some vindictive ex-partners out there that have made it difficult for you to be a part of, but do everything that you can, for sure. I know what I was going to say. Sorry, Dara. So anyway, so I was thinking the other day about, like we were donating some clothes to a donation center for the local, what was it called? Humane Society. And I was thinking about how do we as a society bypass that and help those that need it directly that can't even afford to go to a place like that, a donation center, to buy the clothes. And that, like, I remember, in school, I had, one pair of pants and one pair of shoes. And then I think I had like 4 or 5 pairs of shirts for each school year. And so for me, it was really tough growing up poor and just knowing how that felt. And what could we do that I was watching a show, I forget what show it was, but they would take women that came out of a, like a battered situation. I don't know if this was a made up show or if it was a real show. I can't remember, but they had a store and the store had the cash register and somebody there to help them, but everything in the store was free for them to go in to pick out the necessities that they felt like they needed in their life with no limit, and I think they even gave them like a fake credit card or something so that way they could go up to the register and feel empowered to pay with the fake money, but to go to a boutique. And what can we do as a society to help those in need like that? What could I have done differently because I had so many different sizes. I didn't have just one place I could take it. So it's nice that we think about and we don't just throw clothes like that away. We all of you, but what can we do to like a school? Like every school should have like a big room that not the lost and found, but the donation center. So that way the hand-me-downs from the years before can be in there for parents in need, can go. And there's just so much that we can do to find our purpose. And maybe if I had more time in my life, maybe I would explore that a little bit more. So anyway, something to think about. John says he received his 2 window breakers and seatbelt cutter yesterday. Thank you for purchasing those. Every purchase on our website helps keep us on the road. Speaking of going on the road, we are going to be adding another trailer this year, and we're also looking at adding a second RV to the road as well. So that's something that's in the works. The trailer is in the works first, just because we have a new RC boat that we're going to be putting in there and more gear within the trailer that is going to be 6 feet longer. So again, everything that you do being a part of this with us is the reason why we're able to do this. Nancy says weight loss challenge. We always need that weight loss challenge and a group for sure to help out one another, especially us that are now in our 40s and 50s and 60s. It gets harder and harder, but I don't want to exclude those of you that are in your 20s and 30s as well, because trust me, I've been on this my entire life. I was a fat kid in school, and I'm still a fat kid now. And at times, you know, I am fit and I can jump up in the back of a pickup truck. Um, Freedom over fear. Oh, what's wrong? Just life in general. Nothing is wrong. We just need to acknowledge, what's right there in front of us, and take care of those smaller things that are wrong. Thank you, Serendipity, by Melanie. Here's to help you help with the giveaways. Thank you very much. Please do an act of kindness as well. So there's a reminder from Serendipity to go out and do an act of kindness today. Exactly how H. Martin, exactly how I feel about my life. I wouldn't change a thing, or I wouldn't have met my husband. So many stories and so many truths to that. I would not have met my wife had I not made some terrible decisions and fork in the road. And I was actually quit school my junior year for a year and a half. I was going to go make my millions. I was going to take my life savings, which wasn't much. And this is before internet days. I'm leaving the entire country. And I took my dog, his name was Fuzzy, and in the Encyclopedia Britannica, for those of you who are younger that don't know what that is, basically that was our Google back in the day. And it was A, B, C, D, all the way to Z, and it had the entire history of everything that ever happened around the entire world. Not really, but anyway, it was a volume set. And in there, I'm like, oh, what country speaks English that I can go to where they don't hate Americans? And so I found that Grenada, a little island at the very end of the Bahamas, spoke English. I'm like, yeah, I am going to go be an island boy. I'm like, I'm an island boy. Anyway, ended up getting my dog into the country. He was in quarantine for 10 days or so, but it wasn't long before my life savings, and I'm talking like 1,000, maybe 2,000 after the plane ticket or whatever, didn't have any money left. There was no way that I was going to go looking for conch shells working for this other guy for $1 a day. That wasn't going to pay the bills. And so it didn't take long before I realized that I was not going to make my millions there. The U.S. Embassy ended up giving me a loan, which followed me for years. Eventually, when I finally made a couple of dollars, they ended up taking all of it when I thought I was getting a tax return that year, which was really terrible. But anyway, so a year and a half later, after, living on the streets of Ogden, Utah, and some other places, and um, sleeping in parks and hotel stairwells, and eating out of garbage cans, and getting tased in the park in the middle of the night by officers one night. I mean, so many things. Year and a half later, went home, knocked on the door of my dad's house. I did half a year of night school to get caught up for half a year. I was still a year behind, and that's when I met my wife. Was junior year in English class. So, Martin, Martin, I know exactly what you mean. That had I not gone through all of that, I would not have dated my wife, Kristen, through the rest of high school. We got married 2 weeks past her 18th birthday and 2 weeks before my 20th. So we actually walked down the aisle together. That's that story. Jared, did you get your truck fixed? They picked up my truck. They wanted my title as well. I'm like, wait, no, I'm not giving you the title yet. You haven't even told me if we can fix this or not. So somewhere, I don't even know where my truck is at. I don't know if it's in Central Oregon still. I don't know if it's in the Valley. I have no idea where it's at, and they haven't told me yet. Margie would like to know, what do I feel is that though the next step is for AWP? We are currently in the restructuring format of AWP, meaning liability, insurance. How can we expand my team directly with AWP while mitigating the liability that I have from what comes out of somebody's mouth, the way that they interact with law enforcement, for the way that we've learned how to interact with law enforcement, to the finances behind it. It's just, some people say, well, finances shouldn't be our business, whereas other trolls, nosy neighbors, want to know how much, what the, expense of all this is. Right now for our budget for this year, we're looking at about $556,000 for AWP to exist out there on the road with everything that we're bringing you. And that does not include a salary for me in that amount. So this is not a cheap endeavor at all. It started out with me sleeping in the back of my car, begging for air, not having a single tank, to, from the days of picking up cell phones and sunglasses to where we're at today. And it's all because you guys buy window breakers and stickers and fridge magnets and donations. And, some of you are like, oh, you guys get all the rewards. To date, we've gotten one reward. And that was from, Bob Goff, incredible, and his family. They pitched in, and there was a reward on that one. And that reward was split evenly between the three of us that were there on that recovery. I reinvested those funds into, I remember specifically, was I needed a new trailer. I got the trailer, I got the wrap, and those funds were gone quickly. Since then, we have purchased a newer RV. We donated our other RV to Jacob Grubbs. Some of you know that, or have of him as well. So the Mini Winnie lives on, and by donation, I mean I sold it to him for $1 for the paperwork process. But anyway, it was all because of you guys. So that's kind of the direction and the next steps for AWP this year is, what can I do to grow, reinvest the funds properly? They're coming in the door, so that way we can go out and we can help more families. Because one of the things that I have that's always weighing on me is that it's addicting to be out there helping families because of the gratitude that they have. But you have to, and we've spoke about this often, we have to remember we have our own families and our own lives at home. And so what can we do to train others to be on the road to represent AWP directly? And that's different than representing the movement, as an example. Jacob Grubbs, Chaos Divers, and Lindsay, they're a team. They have their own team. They're out there. And if you're not supporting us, or if you are, let me say this a couple different ways. If you're supporting us, thank you. If you have the ability to support them as well, you do. Even if you don't have finances, simply go over and like and share and subscribe. Same goes for all the other teams. Exploring with Nug, with Jeremy Sides, Britton Lockhart, Depths of History, Adam Brand Adventures, the Georgia River Boys, the Down Under Dans of the world, anybody else that you find is actually putting forth an effort, go support them. That anybody can do it, because subscribing is free. So do that first of all. If you have the additional finances and, you're helping us, go help them as well as you can. If you feel like we have enough, which I feel like we never do because of, our growth and the new stuff that we want to add, like the magnetometer and the boats that we're working on for the RC boats. But anyway, if you just simply hate me, I have no problem with that. Go help these other teams and go help them, because the more we as an entire, community around the entire world can help one another for those that are boots on the ground, you all play an important role in this. So I thank you for your role in all of that. I think I answered the question and the direction I was going with that. Um, Doug is on the road trip now. When do you go back out on the road? I have a case, Donnie, in Camdenton, Missouri. And I'm actually heading back out to meet up with Doug and the team later on this week, because we have an edited video that I was ready to put up for members. But when it was ready to go up, something just like, Jared, how did you guys miss that? And I'm not saying, and I've spoken with the family and then those that we've searched with there, I'm not saying that I know right where Donnie is at, but I'm saying, holy crap, how did we miss something that I believe is so obvious that I think I know right where Donnie is at? So anyway, the Doug and the boys left Florida this morning. They're meeting up with me in Missouri later on this week, and we are going to be working that case, and hopefully we will have some great news to share with everyone later on this week. So that's anyway, so then to answer your question as to the RV cycle and what's going on from there, the RV will be coming back to Oregon for a short little bit. Doug and I and Scott Holbert have been nominated by, I forget what the name of it is. Anyway, newsmakers. So the local news stations in Oregon get to nominate a recipient of a newsworthy. And so they have chosen that because we were involved in the Antonio Lopez recovery, where he's the one that went over the 205 bridge on Valentine's Day last year, and we were able to locate him for the local dive team, that they are honoring us for that. We also have new clues as to the missing bridesmaid, so we're going to be working on that case the end of April. We're also have some stuff we're going to drop into California on as well, and we also have Ralph Brown that's a heavy focus of ours this year as well. For those of you who are donating, thank you very much for those donations directly. Anybody that's on the live chat over on YouTube can see those. My wife has instructed me to not necessarily say dollar amounts to not make anybody else feel bad. So anyway, those of you who are donating directly on the super chat, we appreciate it. Those of you who are making donations directly on the website at adventurewithpurpose.com, we appreciate that as well, and any purchases as well. And then we also have the membership. So memberships are different than subscriptions. And so over on YouTube, there's a join button, and that's in the description of this video as well. A membership is basically a, hey, Jerry, we're going to buy us a cup of coffee or a tank of gas, $5 to $100 a month. And that helps us kind of balance our budget better for that month, because we know, all right, we're going to have some roll off every month, but we have a nice steady of who's helping monthly. And for our way of saying thank you on that one, we do have videos that come out early. Right now, the video that is out currently for members is Stephanie Wynn and her 2 children from Ohio. And so anyway, that video is currently online right now. We'll have another video maybe later today, if not tomorrow, for members as well coming up. So anyway, you do get videos early, but do not worry, because some of the trolls are like, well, I'm unsubscribing because you're making us pay for everything now. No, I'm not. Every video comes out to the public within a week or two. So know that we appreciate each and every one of you. It's just our only way of saying an additional thank you with early access to some of those videos. What is your most needed item under $1,000? Fuel. Fuel. Lots of fuel. I think that this month so far we've spent, I don't even know, four or $5,000 in fuel and food, and anyway, it gets spendy, especially with these gas prices. The items that we really have coming on board are these larger, putting things together, coming up with this boat, that this RC boat. We're investing between $8,000 and $9,000 in making this boat, and so it has a sonar unit on it. We also put money into a long range, so that way it will go about 500 yards for the Wi-Fi signal that we boosted. It has, thrusters and RC components, and I can't wait to share what it is that we're working on, but that won't be ready for a couple months. So other items we're working on, the magnetometer. But what's the most important, I feel like the RC boat is, because that will make us more efficient, that we don't have to drag out the big boat for these smaller ponds, and also places to where maybe sometimes we just have to go incognito, where we're walking a fine line of, is it public property? Is it private property? Well, technically it's private. If we put a boat on there, they're going to catch us. But if we slide a remote control boat on, or some of these bodies of water where it's like, no boating allowed, but we can slide a remote control boat onto the water, now we can get away with it. So anyway, that's our most important. So anyway, so when you ask about, what's the most important needs under $1,000, it's really the donations that come in, so that way we can apply that appropriately on what is the next most necessary thing for us to purchase. So I hope that answers that, and we appreciate all the donations that if you can. If you can't, it's not a problem. I understand that times are tight. Simply subscribe. It's free. It helps us out, spread the message and awareness, and get other people to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and become a follower over on Facebook. Let me see. I didn't read all this yet. Regrets are an excuse for redirection. You have more than made up for anything you could have done. We love you. I had a uncle one time that said, Jared, it takes 1,000 attaboys to make up for one oh crap. Not exactly what he said, but it was, you get that one. We might have some family on tonight, younger kids, so I chose my words wisely on that one. What was your inspiration to start this search journey? Simply answering the call for a neighbor that asked for help. And it was the Nathan Ashby case, when a family reached out to us and they said, we see that you have this ability to find, locate, and recover cars from under the water. We are not getting the proper help that we need. Can you come help us out? And we were hopeful that the local agencies would do this for the family, but then it became, the conditions were perfect for them according to what they said that they needed for perfect conditions. But then it was a week or two before Christmas, and they said, yeah, it's the holiday season now, so we're going to go ahead and do this in March or April if the conditions are good then. Well, we already know that the conditions will not be good for them then, because now you have the spring runoffs. And so it was me being pissed that locally they were not stepping in to help a family in need, and that we were asked to do so, and I couldn't say no. And that's what started this journey. And this journey has expanded, as you guys have seen it, and you know it, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Dustin, this has been very inspirational. My favorite part was, don't put your life on hold while searching. I think that it is a major factor that people don't realize they are dealing with AWP. You all just living it and sharing it with us is proof positive. Love you guys. Thank you. And I want to point out too, most of the time you guys get to see a polished edit of, there's a lot of stuff that makes it on the cutting room floor. It takes close to 35 to 40 hours for each video to be edited. Every video that we have roughly 25 hours of raw footage that we film throughout the day from multiple camera angles. And how do we condense that down to share an appropriate story as to the what we together collectively, all of us being a part of this AWP movement, to have done to help these families, whether we do solve or whether we do not, that we're giving these families answers. But more importantly, and the gratitude that we have for these families in allowing us to share these stories is so that way the next family can find us and reach out to us for help in the same way that the family we're currently helping was able to do. And it's whether the family themselves are reaching out or you, the viewers, are reaching out to us and emailing us and saying, hey, you know what? Have you heard about this case? And so we have a case with, so we have a big map with, close to 1,000 cases on there, plus another file that's not on there with over 1,200 additional cases that meet our criteria of a missing person with a vehicle that is not suspected of foul play. So let me just answer like 3 or 4 more, and then I'm gonna go spend time with my daughter. I'm gonna go, with my purpose of the day. And with that, I want to make sure that we all understand this. At the end of the day, you know, we're not superheroes. We are just a couple of people that decided to take on this mission to be boots on the ground, to take time away from our family, and that you know you guys have accepted my time home better than what I thought you would accept it. For what was going through my head was oh no, you guys are going to be so mad that you're not seeing me in the RV with Doug and Carson on this trip. Josh and I are currently home. In the same way that Doug and Carson are going to be home with their families, that there'll be times where you won't see them, and there'll be times that you'll see all of us together. So anyway, I appreciate you all understanding that and supporting us in the way that you do. No regrets. The past created AWP, certainly did. As a reminder, for those of you who did not hear it, we have a couple of giveaways going on. One is an extra challenge coin that we got from Hunt County. We also have 2 big What's Your Purpose packs that we're giving away with a whole bunch of What's Your Purpose stuff, from stickers to iron-on patches to fridge magnets to silicone stuff to anything that we have that's What's Your Purpose. We have 2 of those packs that we're giving away and 2 $25 gift cards to Adventures of the Purpose. And again, remember, your support, whether you become a member or purchase merch or whatever, all helps us out. In order to be picked for one of those giveaways, on Wednesday, I will be picking 5 different people. You simply have to go to our YouTube channel, Adventure with Purpose, and after this video is over, do a hashtag What's Your Purpose and tell me, what is your purpose in life, or what do you want your purpose to be, or what are your plans and your goals, or what's something you've been most proud of in life, and that you can do again or return to, or it can be whatever you want. Just do a hashtag What's Your Purpose, leave me a comment. Who is your go-to person when you're having a bad day? I think that's the problem. Doug is an incredible friend of mine, so as a guy-to-guy friend, I'll lean on him. I have my wife and my kids, but I don't share a lot of my go-to with them. I feel as though I've always tried to be the rock, the husband, the breadwinner, the dad. I have frustrations, but it's my job and my responsibility to get us through it, or for me to be strong for you guys, for them, I mean. And so that's a really tough one. And I think that's probably what leads to a lot of depression for all of us in life. I mean, there's been multiple times, I mean, more than a dozen, where I myself, was suicidal, to where, I've had things around my neck before, and as a teen, and as an adult, and you just feel like you're at your wits in and what is the purpose. But had I given up, I wouldn't have made all these other memories, that I have throughout the years with my own family, and I wouldn't be the AWP would not be the movement that it is today because I started diving and hey, I'm going to become a middle-aged YouTuber and I'm going to get in the water and start picking up sunglasses and pick up garbage to listening to, those that reached out in need, and so I look at this as the girls growing up through the years, my skinny stages along the way, my fatter man stages through the way, the 10-year wedding renewal of in fact, that was my heaviest I've ever been in my life. I had to go buy really big pants on that one, but that just a 10-year renewal, a commitment to my wife and my family, and yeah, so many great memories. And so maybe start with that today in your own life. Go pull out an old photo album or old notes, and look back at it, and it's like, what were some of those great happy times that you had that you really felt like you had your purpose, and you for some reason in life you may have lost that, and what can you do to get back to it? And just go call one person today. I'm gonna call Bridget, like I said, is my neighbor that used to live next to me. That's We used to go over and visit all the time, and now she's in a nursing home and she has no other family around. So that's gonna be my purpose today after I go to a late breakfast with my daughter. It's not uncommon for her to eat breakfast at 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So anyway, on that note, thank you everybody for being a part of all of this with me. And let me just don't forget to call Bridget. Yes. All right. Anyway, any additional questions, I will be reading them for the next couple of days on this video, and I'll do my best to answer them for this live stream. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here with me, rambling. This is one of my worst viewed video the past year, but it's really you that are here that really know and understand, that are a part of this with us, that you're not just here for that viral news update or whatever we want to call that, you guys are here as real people, as real humans. So I can say that thank you for being a part of this family. Thank you for being my friend in this, and wish us luck later on this week when we go back and see if we can find Donnie, and I will release that original video um, to members probably on Friday or Saturday. It will come out a week later, but we'll also have an update if we have any breaking news that you'll hear about it sooner than later. So thank you again, and go enjoy your day. Thanks. Bye.